The 4 stocks I went ahead and picked up this week, people. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor and I got the t-shirt to prove it. And this week we're going to speak about all of the companies that I personally bought. And there is actually one brand new company that I bought this week that a lot of you may not expect. So I think we put in about $900 or so altogether. So slowly but surely building the portfolio of people trying to make it bigger and bigger. But I'm not going to waste any of your guys' precious time. So right before we get into our first company, can I please ask you to smash a like on this video, as it genuinely helps me and the channel out so much. I really do appreciate it. Please hit that juicy red subscribe button if you're new around here, people. The road to 20,000 subs is on its final stretch. We have 3,000 left to go, and when we hit that, I am dropping the Not a Financial Advisor merch. And please do drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know what you think of the companies I bought. And let me know what you bought this week. With that being said, guys, let's get into it. So, guys, the first company I went ahead and picked up this week was indeed Hyliion. And I picked up 17 shares, which actually gives me a total holding in the company of 25 shares now. So still a relatively small position. But if we look on the monthly chart, you're all more than likely aware it's been a bad month, okay? Down over 30%. This is a company that personally I very heavily believe in, and their price has been driven down so much over the last month, largely because there was this initial spike, okay? There was a lot of hype, it got spiked up, and since then it's been somewhat correcting, but we've had this somewhat steady period, you know? For a week or so, it's actually been steady, whereas the rest of the time it's just been crashing. So that's the primary reason I went ahead and bought it, okay, was because I saw things are somewhat starting to regulate. We're starting to get some sort of resistance, and it's not shooting up or down. I don't think we're going to get an awful lot of movement in this company until the merger happens, until Hyliion merges with Tortoise Acquisition Corp. Who knows when that's going to be? It's speculated to be September, but we're not sure yet. Now, Hyliion's quite an interesting one, okay? There's not been that much news brought out about them over the last month or so. Since all of the hype first started, there hasn't been much news. If you look up Hyliion stock news, okay, June 28th, June 29th, that's not news, June 30th, June 19th. Not a lot has happened that we are actually aware of at the moment. I mean, I've tried doing a decent bit of digging and I can't find too much than, you know, what everybody already knows. Even if you go onto Yahoo Finance, okay? Usually if you go to Yahoo Finance, they will have an abundance of news articles every single day on many companies. In the last week, they've only had 2. The one before that was 15 days ago. I think a lot of the hype has died down because, you know, we haven't seen the news 2 or 3 times a week that we're seeing with a lot of other companies. Workhorse, for example, there is new information coming out every single day that keeps people excited. With Hyliion, we haven't got that excitement level. So I think a lot of people who would have made a lot of money in that initial bull run up have decided to sell out and just run away with their profits. And that is fair enough. And that's why I'm deciding to get in again now at a much better price. Very interesting with Tortoise Acquisition Corp, okay? The percentage of their shares held by institutions, 77.09%. There are 23.3 million shares outstanding, and there's only 669.3 thousand shares short as of right now, which is 2.58%. So I think now a lot of people who did just want the quick buck are out of the company ultimately. I have a 23-minute video on these guys that I only uploaded I think last week, so if you want an awful lot of information about this company, feel free to check that out. It really is a deep dive and you will get a very good basic understanding of the company. It is worth knowing this one is a little bit more speculative in nature. I don't expect a lot to happen with this company until the merger does go through, in all honesty, but I do believe their prospects are absolutely fantastic and I am very happy to hold this stock, and I do definitely plan on buying considerably more in this company as time goes on, slowly but surely, just dollar cost averaging. Now, this next one is going to surprise a few people. I bought some Nio. So this was my first time ever getting into Nio, and I picked up 30 shares and I got them at about this price. I think it was $12.30 or so a share. Now, the last time I spoke about Nio in detail, I was not too excited about them whatsoever. And I said I didn't plan on buying them at all. On the monthly chart, they've done fantastically. No denying it, okay? Up nearly 60%. On the 6-month chart, things get even more crazy. I mean, from the lows, they're actually up 412%. Like we see with a lot of EV stocks, they had this massive run up, then they dip back down. But Nio didn't have that big of a dip compared to some of its peers. Now, I'm going to be making a full video for Nio over the weekend because there is an awful lot to be said about this company. But let's just say that since the last time I spoke about them, I've probably done more than 100 hours of research into the EV sector as a whole. and I realised just how important Nio could be going forwards. I really did start to see the power that China has in the EV market right now, and Nio obviously is an absolutely massive player in China. So I opened up a relatively small position, 30 shares, nothing crazy by any means, and I'm still not 100% decided on how much money I want to put into these guys, but I did want to open up a position of some sort. And I also personally see a very real potential that this could continue to go down over the next week or two, just because it was inflated so quickly, so I didn't want to put all of my eggs into Nio at one time. I will just dollar cost average. So back when I was speaking about these before, okay, one of the things I didn't like was the fact that they weren't profitable. I have learned a considerable amount since then. If you guys have watched the channel for a long time, you know that I am more than happy to tell you guys when I have changed my mind on a company. I wasn't fair towards Nio at all, and sometimes that happens. That's just the way it happens. When you start looking into a company, you like some and you won't like some. It doesn't mean that you can't change your mind. I can't hold their lack of profits against them, because the whole EV market is like that. Look at Tesla, for example. Look at how long they weren't profitable. And again, the fact that it does currently have a market cap of 14.5 billion is worrying to me. That's why I didn't want to go all in just yet. I do still have my concerns with the company, but I wanted some sort of position. I'll just put it that way. Held by institutions, 42.29% of the company. Their short ratio is at 1.33. Nio delivered 3,740 vehicles in June 2020, representing a strong nearly 180% growth year over year. And I personally wouldn't have expected something like this to happen, guys. If you know how the EV market as a whole is looking both last year and for the rest of this year, it wasn't as good as 2016, 17 and 18. The sequential increase was just 8.8% more in June, but again, in the broader EV market, that is actually good. In Nio's latest press release for Q2 deliveries, it did not even state whether the gross margin or vehicle margins have stopped being negative. The best that CFO could mutter was, "We are confident that our goals on gross margin and operational efficiency will be achieved." So again, I still don't have the same level of confidence in Nio as I do in a few of my other EV plays, but look, I'm not going to be able to explain it in this little segment of a video. I will have a full video on them in the next day or two, hopefully, max 3 days. Expect it to be a long one. Okay, the third company, we have Virgin Galactic, baby. Now, I only added 5 shares. My initial cost basis in this company was right about $15 a share, so to be honest, I do find it tough to dollar cost average at these prices. I was up about 70% at one stage in this company, and now I'm adding more shares at a higher price, so it's hurt my cost basis. It's tough to do, but it's all about the long-term mindset. A lot of people have been asking me for another video on this company. There hasn't been enough news yet to justify a full video, but there has actually been some more news coming out lately. I might get one made this weekend. If not, I promise I will next weekend. So why is it going down? Okay, the company let slip that its first commercial space launch, okay, carrying paying customers and producing actual revenue for the near revenueless company, could be farther away than a lot of investors at home. Now me, I'm not fussed about this, okay? I will happily sit on this stock for years and years and years, because I do believe that ultimately it's going to be amazing. But of course, there will be people who see a piece of news like this and get upset and just get out. And I don't even want to put an estimate on when I think they will be carrying paying passengers to space, because they do, to be honest, have a history of pushing that year back. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to let myself stress about that. It will come. Essentially, right now, they're still doing their test flights, which will carry 2 pilots in the front to do a system check. And then assuming all goes well, the plan is to start putting 4 Virgin Galactic employees in the back and flying them around as well. And after a fairly small number of such tests, Virgin Galactic should be ready to carry paying passengers to space. So as of right now, Virgin Galactic is set for the last key rocket test flights. You may also remember that they released what the inside the cabin looks like, and I thought it looked pretty slick. So look, again, for me, I just want a dollar cost average. I want a bigger position. I still have a relatively small position. I only have 35 shares. I wish it was double that. But you know how it is. When you get a really good cost basis and you don't want to hurt it, it's hard to keep buying shares. But again, it's not one particular piece of news that made me invest in this company this week. I more than likely will just buy a little bit every week or two, especially if it is a week, okay, where they go down a little bit in value, especially from the top. And the final company. You could have all guessed this one. We have Workhorse stock, okay? We have my baby. We have a fan favorite on the channel. I uploaded a full video on these guys just earlier on today with loads of new interesting information in regards to the company. I just picked up 10 more shares, bringing my total stake in the company up to 60 shares, actually putting it into the top 5 biggest holdings I have right now, which is pretty interesting considering I only ever planned for it to be a somewhat speculative play. I only ever planned to have a very small position in this company, but I have done so much research into Workhorse and the EV market as a whole, it's just taken over. I think that this company has disgusting upside potential, and I mean disgusting upside potential. I think that by the end of September we are going to know whether or not they had the USPS contract. I am going to be loading up. It is a high risk company, I understand that. I am not advising anybody to buy this company. I have a t-shirt that quite clearly says I'm not a financial advisor on me right now, okay? It is high risk. It is somewhat speculative in nature. But the potential this company has is immense. I don't think I've ever looked into a single company as much as I've looked into Workhorse, and that's just the truth. They just caught my interest from day one. So there was actually some interesting news that came out in regards to Workhorse this week. A lot of it wasn't directly about Workhorse, but it is all interconnected. Tesla sued Rivian, okay? So Tesla sued Rivian over alleged trade secret theft related to sales and charging network. Essentially, some people who used to work in Tesla went to Rivian and leaked important information. This is very, very serious, but why does it affect Workhorse? Rivian is seen to be quite a big competitor to Workhorse and Lordstown Motor. So obviously if Tesla is to sue them, that could potentially put Rivian back months and months, which would ultimately propel Workhorse forwards. Tesla in particular accused 2 employees of downloading confidential documents during their final days at the company and sending them to personal email accounts. One allegedly sent documents related to manufacturing, while the other allegedly sent documents with information on charging, okay? And obviously they bring in this to Rivian. That's what they expected. The first US presidential debate between Donald Trump and Democratic challenger Joe Biden will take place in Cleveland, Ohio on 29th of September. Ohio is a swing state, okay? You need Ohio to win an election. I don't think anybody has won without Ohio's vote since 1960, I believe. Trump needs Ohio if he wants to win. Ohio is where the new Lordstown Motors plant is. If Workhorse is to win the USPS contract, okay, it's going to look very, very good for Trump. Trump has a lot of influence over the USPS. He has a history with the United States Postal Service. He definitely is going to have some say in who gets that contract. Workhorse receives HVIP eligibility from the California Air Resources Board. Essentially what that means, okay, is that Workhorse's 2020 model year C series vans, okay, will be eligible for monetary vouchers of up to $50,000 per vehicle, making them even more affordable, hopefully encouraging more people to buy, more big companies to buy. ARC also went ahead and picked up even more Workhorse, bringing their total holdings up to over 400,000 shares in the company. It's all just looking tasty for Workhorse. You all know where I stand on this company though. They're quickly turning into my baby. This is one who I do think we're going to see some price movement in, potentially quicker than the likes of Hyliion and Virgin Galactic, even Nio. I do think it's going to be hopefully very good next couple of months. But again, do remember what I said earlier. This one is quite risky in nature, but it has potential. Do your due diligence before investing. And there's the 4 companies I personally went ahead and picked up this week, people. So guys, there you have it. All of the companies that I personally went ahead and picked up this week. If you watched till the end, I genuinely appreciate you so much. You are a true legend, and hopefully I was able to give you some entertainment and some sort of insight into these companies. As always, please, if you are considering investing in any of these companies, do your due diligence. Don't just invest based off the back of me or anybody else on YouTube doing so. Always do your own research. These YouTube videos, they're just to put them on your radar. And I just want to say as well, thank you so much for the support lately. It genuinely is mind-blowing to me. The fact that we are on 17,000 subscribers and fast approaching 20,000. It genuinely is absolutely mental. Like, I did not expect any of this. So genuinely from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much. I hope that you all have an absolutely fantastic day. I will see you for tomorrow's video. Peace.